Hello, I'm Professor Chris Reed and I'm here to introduce you to Theory of E-commerce Regulation. This is a module which asks the question, why should somebody in one country who's doing stuff online obey the laws of any other country? To answer that question, we need to investigate what it is that gives law their authority and what makes that authority legitimate. And so that's what we do in the first half of the module, which is primarily theoretical. In the second half of the module, we test out the theory by applying it to 5 areas of law and regulation where it's particularly visible and important. So, for example, we find out that domain names are regulated by a purely private body that has no foundation in national law or international treaties at all. We find out that copyright law works in cyberspace in a completely different way from the way it says it's supposed to work. We look at consumer protection and discover that that's also quite interesting and often run by private corporations rather than through courts and national laws. We look at blockchain and crypto assets, and we also look at hosting liability to ask ourselves, okay, when should an online platform be liable for the stuff that people post or share on it? In terms of the practical stuff, I'm the person who teaches the entire module. And the way I teach it is by starting with a kind of lecture format, but I keep asking you questions and eventually you stop being shy and start talking back, and then we have a mix of lecture and discussion. The module is assessed through 2 essays. The first one you write halfway through, that's 1,500 words, and the second one you write at the end, 4,500 words. The idea of splitting the assessment is so that you get some idea on how well you're understanding the stuff we're working with before we reach the end of the module. The final essay counts for 70% of your marks, the first essay for 30%. This isn't a practical course. It doesn't teach you practical skills per se, but what it does teach you is a deeper understanding of the law that might be very useful if you're practicing in this area. Surprisingly, much of the theory came out of the work I did at the height of the dot-com boom, trying to advise companies which for the first time were acting in every country in the world and were trying to understand how they could navigate this difficult landscape. The legal landscape has got no easier since then, and the problems are just the same. So if that interests you, I'd be delighted to see you in the class, and I hope you enjoy your LLM.